I invite you to consider a truth that the expert's burden often hides. The universe does not respond to the sweat on your brow, but to the resonance in your heart. Many of you carry the silent burden of deep grief, prolonged illness, or the existential anxiety that despite all your inner work, the flow of manifestation has stopped. You feel vibrationally blocked, but I ask you to look closer. Is it the universe that has stopped, or is it your own effort that has become the wall? 1. The Cork analogy revisited, the natural upward pull. To understand sovereignty, you must first understand the nature of the vortex. I invite you to imagine a cork held under the surface of the water. The water, the source, the universe, is constantly exerting an upward force. It is the natural state of the cork to float. Your desires for health, love, and prosperity are like that cork. The larger reality is already pulling them toward fulfillment. The struggle you feel is not the difficulty of manifesting, it is the literal muscular and mental effort you are using to hold the cork under the water. Metaphysical clarity comes when you realize that you don't need to make the cork float. You simply need to let go. The moment you release your grip, the cork and your life rises to the surface by the law of its own nature. The advanced seeker often falls into the trap of the paradox of willpower. You believe that if you just visualize harder or affirm more intensely, you will force the universe to respond. The desire to manifest often creates more tension than the lack itself. This tension is a signal of resistance to the quantum field. When you try to manifest, you are reinforcing the state of not having. You are vibrating at the frequency of the seeker, not the owner. This creates a spiritual plateau where your effort becomes a repulsive force, pushing away the very thing you are reaching for. Mastery of creation is not an act of will, but an act of assumption. It is the transition from trying to get to being the one who has. Why is it so hard to let go? Often it is because we have adopted a heavy identity. In Jungian terms, this is the sufferer persona, the part of the psyche that finds a strange comfort in the struggle. For some, the identity of being vibrationally blocked or spiritually wounded has become a familiar home. There is a subconscious fear that without the struggle, we won't know who we are. This is the ultimate form of self-sabotage. To achieve a subconscious breakthrough, you must be willing to let the sufferer die so the sovereign can be born. You are not your wounds. You are not your history of illness or loss. You are the conscious creator who still has time to claim your sovereignty and peace. I invite you to consider, are you exhausted from the journey, or are you exhausted from carrying the luggage you were supposed to leave at the start? Many seekers struggle because they attempt to change their resonance while their body is trapped in a state of high alert survival. You cannot manifest health, love, or prosperity from a body that believes it is under attack. If your nervous system is locked in a state of contraction, your metaphysical affirmations will simply bounce off the surface. To achieve a subconscious breakthrough, we must apply the vagal brake, a physiological intervention that forces the brain to exit the state of resistance. The analytical guard of the mind is fueled by the sympathetic nervous system. When you feel vibrationally blocked, your brainstem is often sending a signal of threat. We can override this signal using neurosomatic techniques that bypass the ego entirely. The basic exercise: by using specific eye movements, shifting the gaze to the extreme periphery while keeping the head still, you stimulate the vagus nerve. This physical movement sends a direct message to the brainstem that the environment is safe. It triggers an involuntary yawn, sigh, or swallow, the vagal brake in action. This is a high-frequency ritual that provides instant relief. Once the threat signal is silenced, the expert's burden of worry vanishes, and you return to a state of inner sovereignty. In the realm of biological manifestation, the psoas muscle is known as the muscle of the soul. It is the primary muscle involved in the fight or flight response, and for many, it is where the memory of deep grief and prolonged illness is stored. When you live in a state of constant trying, the psoas remains chronically contracted. This physical tension acts as a literal vibrational anchor to your old identity. By deactivating this muscle through gentle, mindful lengthening, you release the stored emotional resonance of the past. Releasing the psoas is a form of shadow work for the body. As the muscle softens, the vibrational resistance you've been fighting simply dissolves. This allows the flow of the source to move through you without the friction of physical trauma. The body is a biological mirror of your internal state. Contraction is the posture of the sufferer. Expansion is the posture of the sovereign. You can use quantum principles to lead the mind by shifting the body first. Shifting your posture, opening the chest, dropping the shoulders, and lifting the chin mirrors the vortex state. Even before the mind believes in the new reality, the body begins to broadcast a frequency of abundance and presence. This is not faking it. It is the mastery of creation, deciding that your physical form will broadcast the signal of the version of you who has already won. When the body expands, the mind follows, moving from the exhaustion of managing problems to the joy of living the result. I invite you to consider: if your body is the temple of your manifestation, have you cleared the debris of stress from the altar today? The greatest illusion that keeps the advanced seeker trapped on a spiritual plateau is the belief that the world is solid. You look at your bank account, your medical reports, or your empty home, and you label them as facts. But as Jane Roberts channeled through the Seth material, these are not facts. They are camouflage. They are a temporary projection of a previous resonance. To achieve metaphysical clarity, you must stop treating the world like a stone wall and start treating it like a holographic projection. In the Sethian approach, the 3D world is the camouflage for a much more fluid and expansive larger reality. Your current problems are not solid obstacles. They are malleable shadows cast by the light of your past beliefs. When you view a problem as a fact, you give it sovereignty over you. You become a victim of the shadow. The holographic shift involves looking through the problem. You realize that the image on the screen of your life can be changed the moment the film, your subconscious blueprint, is swapped. By seeing your challenges as shadows, they lose their density. They no longer feel like advanced blocks, but like temporary clouds passing in front of your inner spark. This is the essence of subconscious reprogramming. You don't change the shadow, you change the light. Vadim Zeland speaks of excessive potential, the destructive energy created when we give something too much importance. When you try too hard to manifest, you create a massive buildup of importance that the universe must balance out, often by creating more delay. Strategic apathy is the high-frequency act of dropping that importance instantly. It is the "so what" technique. When a negative thought or a 3D fact challenges your peace, you respond with a calm, almost indifferent "so what?" This isn't about being uncaring. It's about sovereign indifference. By refusing to give the problem your emotional energy, you collapse the excessive potential. The moment you stop caring that it hasn't happened yet, it finally has the vibrational space to appear. You move from the exhaustion of waiting to the flow of having. The ego thrives in density. It wants you to feel small, trapped within the skin of your body, and limited by your physical circumstances. This contraction is the primary source of existential anxiety. To dissolve this density, we use a mental exercise of spatial expansion. I invite you to close your eyes and feel the space between your atoms. Expand your awareness beyond your physical body. Fill the room, then the city, then the atmosphere. As your awareness expands, the density of the ego thins out. Your problems, which seemed so large when you were trapped in your head, now appear as tiny specks in the vastness of your higher self. This exercise provides an unshakable connection to the source as you realize you are not a drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean in a drop. I invite you to consider, if your problems are just shadows on a screen, why are you trying to move the furniture in the movie? Many seekers remain stuck on a spiritual plateau because they are waiting for the external world to give them permission to feel light. You think, once the money arrives, or once the healing is complete, then I will be buoyant. But in the realm of quantum principles, the feeling is the cause, and the manifestation is the effect. If you are waiting for the condition to change, you are still operating under the expert's burden. I invite you to implement the lightness protocol, a 3-minute tactical shift that creates the internal reality before the 3D world can reflect it. The first minute of this protocol is dedicated to clearing the vibrational clutter. Your old identity, the one that feels spiritually isolated or misunderstood, is often held in the lungs and the diaphragm through shallow breathing and stagnant air. The technique: take a deep, conscious breath in and then exhale until every last bit of air is gone. Hold that void for a few seconds. This is the vacuum breath. In that empty space, the sufferer persona cannot exist. You are creating a literal and metaphorical void. As you inhale again, you aren't just taking in oxygen, you are allowing the vortex to fill that void with the inner spark of your higher self. This act severs the connection to the silent burden of the past, leaving you in a state of zero resistance. Once you have created the void, you must immediately fill it with a new resonance. According to the Hicksian rule, 17 seconds of pure, focused thought is the combustion point where a vibration begins to attract its own lightness. At the exact moment you feel the lightness from the vacuum breath, pivot your focus to a single thought of sovereignty. Do not look for a solution to a problem, look for the feeling of having solved it. Hold this for 17 seconds. If you can reach 68 seconds, the manifestation is already vibrationally done. This is the subconscious pivot point. By locking in this frequency when you're at your lightest, you ensure your mastery of creation isn't just a fleeting thought, but a new default state. The deeper fear for many is that they are lying to themselves if they feel relief while their bank account or health hasn't changed. This is the ultimate shadow work, realizing that your emotional state is the only true reality. Emotional catharsis occurs when you finally permit yourself to feel the joy of living now. You are essentially telling the universe, I no longer need the 3D world to validate my inner peace. This radical act of inner sovereignty collapses the distance between you and your desires. When you feel the relief without the condition, you have achieved the inner victory. At this point, the external reunion with your desire is no longer a desperate need. It becomes an inevitable natural occurrence. I invite you to consider, are you a prisoner of your circumstances, or are you the sovereign who decides how the air in your own lungs feels? We have dismantled the myth of effort and explored the biological and metaphysical mechanics of sovereignty. You have moved from the expert's burden of trying to fix a solid world to the metaphysical clarity of a fluid one. Now we arrive at the ultimate synthesis, the realization that your power does not lie in what you do, but in the frequency you allow. To live as the floating cork is to finally accept that the universe is on your side. Many advanced seekers struggle with the concept of non-action. In a world that prizes the hustle, the idea of staying light feels counterintuitive, almost like a failure. But in the quantum field, the most productive thing you can do for your manifestation is to maintain your resonance. Vibrational efficiency. When you are heavy with worry, every action you take is filtered through the frequency of lack, producing more lack, the sovereign choice. Staying light is an active, conscious choice. It is the refusal to engage with the constant repetition of negative, self-sabotaging patterns. By prioritizing your inner peace, you allow the bridge of incidents to form naturally. You move from the exhaustion of making things happen to the flow of letting them happen through you. I invite you to consider the metaphor of the hot air balloon. Many of you are trying to reach the larger reality by adding more fuel, more affirmations, more workshops, more trying. But the balloon isn't staying down because it lacks fuel. It's staying down because it is tied to the earth. Cutting the sandbags. Your sandbags are your attachments to deep grief, prolonged illness, and the identity of being vibrationally blocked. You don't need more effort, you need more relief. You just need to cut the ropes of resistance. Every time you apply the "so what" technique or the vacuum breath, you are cutting a sandbag. As the weight drops, your ascent is automatic. You don't have to learn how to fly. You simply have to stop holding yourself down. The deeper truth that traditional psychology often misses is this: you were born to be light. The vortex is not a destination you reach. It is the natural current of the universe that has been trying to carry you since the moment you were born. Surrender as mastery. The final charge is the realization that your only job is to stop swimming against the stream. When you stop trying to manifestation, you finally allow the mastery of creation to take over. You realize that you are not a drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean in a drop, already containing everything you seek. You still have time to claim your sovereignty. You can decide, right now, that the struggle is over. The universe only needs one answer from you. Yes, I am the creator. What if the only thing standing between you and the life you desire is the belief that you have to work for it?